Hi, it's Lisa with Lisa Does Loans and the Mortgage Dream Team at UFFC. So last week we talked about getting prepared for homeownership by working on and establishing your budget. Now that you've looked at your income and your bills and you know what you're able to spend on your monthly payment, how much you should save for down payment, closing costs, etc., the next step before you do anything else is to get pre-qualified. So how do you do that? You know what I say, it all starts with a conversation. Give us a call and we can talk about your goals and what you're looking to accomplish. Is this your first home? Are you looking to start investing in real estate? Let's start getting to know each other because we're going to be talking a lot as this process continues, and before it's over, you'll know everyone on our team. The next step is filling out the application. You can either go online to our application and we can do it over the phone, or if you prefer, you can set up a time and come into the office if you're in Tahlequah, Northeast Oklahoma, and you like to do things face to face. Any of these options will work just as well as another. Go to the application, lisadoesloans.net, and register for your secure portal. You just need your name, email, and then you'll create a password for this step. Then on the next screen, you fill out basic information, your name, date of birth, social security number, phone number, etc. for all borrowers. Then it asks for your current address and previous address if you haven't lived there long. We need at least a 2-year history, and we'll also need your mailing address if that's different. On other screens, we'll ask information about your employment. Again, we need a 2-year history and your income. We ask about your assets. Do you own properties currently? How much do you have in your bank accounts? I know that some of this, as I've said before, seems very personal, but it's necessary. It's information that I need to be able to document if I'm going to secure your loan. The application also will ask things like purchase price or loan amount. Remember that this application is set up to be sort of generic. Some people come to me when they've already found the house. They did it out of order, and they know that information. Sometimes I'm rescuing a loan that another lender just couldn't do, and the applicant has very detailed information. Maybe they even already have their appraisal and title work done. So if that's completed, they're going to know a lot more detail than a person just seeing if they can qualify and for how much. If you're just starting and you don't know the answers to some of these questions, that's okay. Just skip the question, or if it won't let you skip, just put ask me as the answer or the number 1. I'm going to go through this application line by line many times, and I'll ask you for more detail as we go along. I can and will change things on this side as the information is documented. So really it's the personal information that I need from you to start with and to get an idea of the next questions to ask. When you finish the application, a member of our team will be in touch with you very soon. If you don't hear back soon, be sure to call or text me so I can go find it. Most of the time we get an alert, but you know how tech can be. It can be great, but sometimes just a little glitchy too. So I don't want you to wait thinking that you're finished, but the application didn't come through. So if you don't, which it's rare, but if you don't get it and you don't hear from us in a reasonable amount of time, just call. So now I'll go through and vet the application. I'll make a list of questions and call you to follow up. Additionally, even if you answered every single question, I'm likely going to have more. Sometimes the answer to one question may give rise to another. So remember how I said that application is kind of generic? The initial application is generic, but on this end, it's very customized. Your loan process will be customized to you and fleshed out on this side. So every single transaction and every single person who applies is different. Some people are self-employed or have variable income. They might work multiple jobs or have multiple rental properties and investments. There's lots of things that make up the loan, and it's impossible to create one that asks all the right questions. So we do generic and then we customize on this end. What we're looking for is a basic starting place, your personal information and the questions that we need to ask to flesh it out. So when I've made my list of questions, we can address this a couple of different ways. It really depends on your schedule. Do you have time for a quick call and we can address these over the phone? I can email you a list, or I might just text you if it's just a couple of things we need to clarify. When I have your most basic profile put together, then I will assess your income, your employment, your assets, take a look at your credit score and your credit history, your liabilities. Then I figure your debt to income ratio, and at this point I'm going to reach out again. I already sent you a list of required documents and may have already received them and reviewed them. Or if we're just setting this up, then you can bring them with you to the appointment. If we're going straight into this meeting after you've just applied, then I'll tell you about the documents, but I won't have had time to review them. So as soon as you're able to get me the documents, I need to be able to document every piece of the story that we're telling the underwriters about your situation and why you should get this loan. And we need the paperwork to back that up. If you make $24 an hour, I need to have a pay stub that shows $24 an hour, etc. Depending on what we're documenting and the regulation of the loan program that you're using, the documents required could be very different. We'll go into more depth about documents next week, but for now, the message is this. Documents are very important to keep us from having a not so good surprise later. I need them, so please get them to me as soon as possible. You aren't fully pre-qualified until I have the documents that back up the application for submission. Just know, qualifying you for a loan isn't just punching in some numbers into a program and then approve or deny pops out. It's much more nuanced than that. Every loan is like a puzzle. There are lots of different pieces and each one is unique. I have to back up and look at the whole picture to find out how to make the pieces all fit together. It's also about finding the most efficient way to make the loan work. Sometimes it's problem solving and you have to look at the information from multiple different angles to see how to structure the loan and find the best option for you as my unique customer and your very specific situation and goals. This is where I like to set aside about 30 minutes with you and any co-borrowers to go over the findings. Sometimes you might be available now, or sometimes we'll make an appointment for that evening after work, the next day, whatever time might work for you. It's during this meeting that we'll go over your clear mortgage plan. We'll talk about your budget versus the amount you qualify for, what that might look like for monthly payments. We'll talk about the various programs that you could qualify for and the interest rate range for each. Most people will qualify for more than one program, and we'll talk about the benefits versus the drawbacks of each of those and compare them to see what might best fit with your goals. We'll talk about closing costs, down payments, what might be required for cash to close requirements, and where that's coming from. And if you're even ready to start, you may have work to do still yet. We'll talk about challenges that you might have in your particular situation and how best to meet them to safeguard against any hurdles or roadblocks that could come your way. Then we'll cover questions that you might have and things that are important to you. I want you, after this appointment is over, to feel that we have a clear vision in mind. You know where we're going, what we need to do next, and you have an overview about how the process works and an agenda that will allow us to meet your goals. If you've already provided me with the documents and we're meeting, now the fun part begins. We've discussed your goals. We've matched up the program and the pre-approval to line up with them so that now I can ask you, do you have a realtor? If you do, that's great. And if you don't, I work with some fabulous realtors that will do a terrific job to find you exactly what you're looking for, especially now that you've been vetted and the amount and programs you qualify for, you know. I love it when I get to know the customer and then I can help match them up to someone who's suited to their personality and what they're looking for. I work with some of the very best in the business and I'm happy to refer you to one. Myself and the Mortgage Dream team take a lot of pride in being a true resource for my customers. We're not just a loan machine. Oh wait, yeah, I kind of am. But also, I want to educate my customers on what is happening in the process. I want to be able to answer your questions, refer you to other great industry professionals like realtors, title and insurance agents, inspectors, and more. I have some great connections and tons of resources that I can share with you. I truly love my job. I love my customers, and I love to teach people about what I do, this industry, and just share the passion for helping others to make their dreams of homeownership come true. Next week, we'll continue our series and talk more specifically about the documents themselves that you might need for your loan. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. Making these videos is a good way to help and inform my customers, but it's a great big world out there, so follow along. See you next week.